by Kabelo Nthekiso. He's the president of the Progressive Student Movement, which is another organization representing learners in schools, to respond to Cosas' shutdown yesterday at Luthuli House. A very good morning to you, Kabelo. Firstly, what is your response to the shutdown yesterday? Were you part of it?
No, good morning, and good morning to all the viewers nationally. Well, as Progressive Student Movement, we want to make it clear and unequivocally clear that we don't support the shutting down of schools. We don't support the perpetuation of thuggery and thug activities in our schools, criminal activities in our schools, because we must remember that any disruptions of learning and teaching contact time, it is regarded as a criminal offense, and it's regarded as trespassing by the South African School Act, and in fact it's also regarded as a criminal offense, serious criminal offense by the South African Constitution. So as an organization that is advocating for the rights of learners in this country, we cannot be found in a situation whereby we are perpetuating things that are going to hinder the learning and teaching contact time. So to respond to what Cosas has been doing, I don't know if I should call it a national shutdown or a 5-school shutdown. But then what I can respond to them is that whatever that they did yesterday is just a mediocre, because Cosas offices are situated in Luthuli House. Cosas is an alliance structure of the ANC, and they sit together with the ANC as their mother body. So I find it very useless for Cosas to go and disrupt the learning and teaching contact time in the name of the classroom struggle. And then they say they're marching again to the offices and headquarters of the African National Congress, whereas they could have just saved our learners time and then met with the ANC in the boardroom, raised the issues with their mother body in the Luthuli House, and solve all those issues without involving the marginalized learners of this country. Because now what I did is that they went to schools. I received the report. I was in Free State, and I received reports that there were schools, principals who were threatened, teachers who were threatened, and learners who were threatened from schools. So we cannot allow a situation whereby the safety of our learners is being put into jeopardy by the thugs who are gallivanting as classroom struggleists. So as an organization, we clearly and we are saddened and we are embarrassed by the actions of Cosas, and we condemn that harshly, because we don't support any perpetuation of disruption of learning and teaching contact time.
And separate the constituency of Cosas with your constituency.
Definitely. What we said is that we don't have a problem with Cosas having a march on Saturday when they don't disrupt the learning and teaching contact time. Because remember, in schools where they were disrupting, there are members of PSM, there are members of Cosas. And members of PSM, they wanted to be in class, they wanted to learn, but because of these thugs that were sent to school to disrupt schools, our learners were also in jeopardy, and their safety was also jeopardized by these actions that were perpetuated by Cosas yesterday. So we cannot tolerate a situation whereby all learners in this country are held at ransom by a group of gangsters who are sitting along the street, school dropouts who don't know what to do during the day. What they think is to go to school and disrupt contact time. And then what embarrasses us and what surprises us mostly is that we met with Cosas and other stakeholders in the Education Summit. As an organization, we raised this issue of school infrastructure, but we said we cannot fix the school infrastructure issue if we don't adjust the revenue allocation formula from national treasury towards different provinces, more especially rural provinces. So for us to fix the issue of infrastructure, we have to approach the national treasury to adjust the 3% given to poverty component, so that we can be able to prioritize the much marginalized and rural communities of this country, so that we can improve the school infrastructure all around. So whatever they did is just uncalled for, and it needs to be condemned by all stakeholders in the basic education. In the Education Summit that we had, together with the MEC, Mr. Lehari, and other educational stakeholders, they perpetuated and they sent us security personnel, private security personnel. They threatened us, they removed us out of the plenary of the Education Summit. They threatened our lives. Even today, we are living with fear as members of PSM. So they cannot stand here today and say they are advocating for academic excellence and they're advocating for improvement of infrastructure development, because they are the same people who are standing in the forefront of these things, and are the same people who are looting the resources that are supposed to go to the school infrastructure development program. So we cannot allow as a nation for our learners safety and our learners' education to be held at ransom by Congress of South African students. Not at all.
emphasizing on the issue of infrastructure development, but one of the other things they're asking for is safety in schools. You don't think that's important?
Why should people ask for safety in schools, whereas that the same people who go to school and trespass and the same people who put the lives of our learners at risk? Why should they be speaking about safety? We raised the issues of safety at the summit as Progressive Student Movement. We said each and every school must have a police officer. We said each and every school must have a social worker to deal with psychological issues. We said each and every school must have a safety infrastructure. We said the safety infrastructure must be prioritized by the MECs, different MECs across the country. We were kicked out of the summit. Why were we kicked out of the summit? The Director General, Mr. Mweli Matanzima, is having a document of PSM, a document that is submitted to him about the proposal and the solutions that we bring as an organization towards the school safety and security of our learners. He has that document. So we cannot allow an organization that is grandstanding, the organization that is seeking votes with petty issues and putting the risk of our learners at risk. If they want to have a meeting with the minister, if they want to make submission to the minister about the issues of safety and infrastructure and safety and security, they should do that in relevant platform. The offices of the Department of Basic Education are here in Pretoria. Why they don't go to headquarters and meet the minister there, as they do always when they want money to disrupt classes? And we find it uncalled for that the same ANC that was led by Ace Magashule yesterday, they are the same people who funded Cosas to disrupt classes yesterday. So we cannot allow a situation. That's the only thing I was saying. We cannot allow a situation whereas the learning and teaching contact time has been jeopardized in the name of campaigning and then in the name of grandstanding. That is uncalled for.
In receiving the memorandum, Mr. Magashule lauded Cosas for the ability for standing up for their rights. What's your response to that? And this is in closing, closing our conversation. Obviously,
Mr. Magashule is going to applaud Cosas because Cosas is an alliance structure of the ANC. And the very same SG of the ANC is the one who's channeling resources to Cosas so that they can disrupt classes. How can you laud Cosas for all these things, whereas you still have learners in Marangi, you still have learners in and all those old schools learning in muddy classes? Why do you laud Cosas when learners in Tutopil, when learners in Ituteng and whatsoever are still learning in crowded classes? How can you laud people who go to schools and disrupt classes? How do you laud people who are not doing anything, who are not contributing anything towards the transformation of our education system in South Africa? The education system of South Africa is still useless. The education system is still not guaranteed job after school for most of our learners in this country. The education system is still subjecting our learners to 30% quantities. But still, you want to laud Cosas. What are you lauding Cosas for? What has Cosas done? What is a tangible thing that Cosas can show that we have done this, beside perpetuating criminal activities in our schools? So we cannot allow to be held and ransom by the ANC that is even failing our people in South Africa. So we cannot allow our learners to be put in a cross line where people are campaigning and are using our learners' challenges to campaign for them to be in parliament or whatsoever. That thing we cannot allow as an organization. And as conscious South Africans, as people with logic, sane people of South Africa, we also stand with what the PSM is saying.
Kabelo, what for the PSA are the most pressing issues for students, and how do you suggest going about getting solutions?
First thing first, let us review the curriculum. Let us have an African-centered curriculum. That's number one. The curriculum has failed us. Second thing, let's dissolve this thing called the ASIDI. Let's have resources channeled directly from the basic education towards the school development initiatives and cancel the ASIDI program. Let's have a 50% as a pass mark across all the board so that we can be in line with international countries. Let's introduce subjects that are going to be in line with the job market and job needs of South Africa. We need young people to be in active role, to be able to manufacture, to finish, the mineral resources of this country. Let's have subjects that are in line with that. Let's improve the school infrastructure around the country. And then let's ensure that the basic education is intertwined with the higher education and training, so that a learner who finished matric can automatically apply in the higher institutions directly, like how it happens when you move from grade 8 to grade 9. Let it be like that from matric to higher education.
There's obviously a lot to deal with here, and unfortunately time is not allowing us, but thank you so much for making the time. Kabelo Nthekiso is the president of the Progressive Student Movement, and evidently in total disagreement with the actions of Cosas. That's it for today.